Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high. Cause St. Louis is ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold up, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live. Somebody, let's go.
Good morning. Good afternoon and good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys are all doing well out there. Hope this show finds you in good spirits. We got some things to get into. Some things happened yesterday I didn't get the chance to do because it was a busy evening. And I had an event I had to go to. Great time. It was good to be there and see people and all that. But some things have been going on. And I know that there's some things going on in there's some other things going on in other cases right now as we speak. I may be looking into that and covering that a little bit later on today, or a little bit after this particular show. But I definitely wanted to make sure that this was covered and you guys know what's going on. We got some crazy stuff that's just come out, and it exposes things. It also confirms a lot of things. It could also get some people in trouble and all that. We're going to talk about all that and more for sure on the show. So before we get into everything, please do me a favor. Hit that like button down below. Crush it. Do what it do. Hit that reaction button if you can. That'd be greatly appreciated. Don't forget, if you are watching on other platforms, make sure you hit that follow button. I'm on Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Rumble. I'm on all of them. So make sure you're subscribed or you're following over there. Make sure you're subscribed here on my YouTube channel. Please and thank you. Go to my secondary channel, The Pascal Show Clips. Crush that subscribe button over there. Make sure you have both notification bells on both platforms, on both channels, set to all, because there's going to be a tidal wave of stuff coming out over the next few days and all that on both channels, okay? There's so much to cover. I am only one man, but I am trying to do as much as I can with the very few hours that I have a day, okay? So subscribe. Hit that like button down below. Hit that notification bell. Make sure you do that as well. Don't forget, hit that join button down below. Become a member. That'd be greatly appreciated. Check out my Patreon. Check out my locals. And, of course, check out PascalMerch.com. We got some really great stuff over there, guys. PascalMerch.com. It's chef's kiss. Go check it out. All right, guys, we got to get into this conversation. Woo! It's a very interesting situation that's going on right now, guys. We've talked about this before. We're still not done talking about all of this, especially when it comes to Jay-Z's situation. Jay-Z's situation is very interesting because, one, we've all seen, I'm just pulling it up so you guys can see this, all right? We're not going to play it, all right? But we've all seen, everybody who has been covering or has been watching this whole thing unfold, everything from Diddy to Jay-Z, we've all seen this interview from NBC. We've all seen it, okay? Now, I know there are still some people out here that go, hey, she's innocent, or she's telling the truth. I believe her, stand with her 100%. But I know that this is the interview that launched 1,000 side eyes, right? A lot of people were very concerned about, is she telling the truth? Is she lying? What's going on here, right? Then we just found out just a little bit ago, not only did her case get dismissed, her lawsuit get actually dismissed, still kind of up in the air on why it got dismissed, right? There are things that are being said, but now it's just a he said, she said, or she said, he said type of situation now. But we're all still wondering what actually happened here and why everything went down. But just the other day, Jay-Z came out with a whole thing basically saying, hey, we now know that she admits to lying. I must, sue the pants off this woman. Maybe that's not the best phrase here, given the situation, but sue the heck out of this woman because, let's be real, she lied. She admits to lying, right? Only to have her come back saying, no, I'm not lying. I'm telling the truth. I was intimidated by investigators. I was threatened and intimidated and fearful for my life. That's why the lawsuit was dropped. Now, again, this is where things get really, really weird and sticky. Because, of course, instantly we see that interview on NBC. We hear all these other things about her, like just from her response, and the people who sit there and go, nah, she's not telling the truth. We all side eye, right? We all look like, kind of like the boy who cried wolf, right? But then we find out new information. And I'm just showing you guys this article, the title to this article, which, bang, she says that an investigator came, right? That she allegedly told a private investigator that she made these things up. Okay? She says, I ran into these private investigators, came up to me, asked me questions, tried to get me to basically admit that I was lying and all that stuff, right? But what's interesting about this? Let me see, make sure I got that here. What's interesting about this is that now Jay-Z's private eye is actually saying, literally saying, boom, she admitted it. She admitted it. Yes, I'm a private eye. I went there, 2 different private eyes, actually, spoke to this Jane Doe, found where she was, found out who she is, what her name is, found out all kinds of crazy stuff, and actually did speak to her, and she did admit to them, to their face, that the whole thing was a fabrication and a lie. Now, 2 things are happening right here. First off, number one, this is showing that Jay-Z does indeed have private eyes out there looking, knocking on people's doors and asking people questions. That's for sure. That is for sure now. So all the things that we've seen from TikTokers, YouTubers, and all that saying, yeah, private eyes were going up and knocking on our doors, asking us questions, going, how you doing? What's up, content creator? If we were to give you some money, would you be willing to change your narrative on behalf of the stuff that you're saying out here? Because now it seems like for sure Jay-Z is working in collaboration with Diddy. Real talk. This is a very interesting track, okay? Diddy featuring Jay-Z and a couple PIs. Isn't that interesting? That's the most interesting remix I've seen in a while. A real life remix, a real life collaboration. Diddy featuring Jay-Z, or now it's kind of, because Jay-Z's the one who's really free. So it's Jay-Z featuring Diddy, right? It's The Rock in the building. It's very interesting though, right? Wouldn't you agree? Yes, Tanisha. This would basically mean that, yeah, he just exposed his whole ish. And that's not good. That's not good. But at the same time, hold on, hear me out though. At the same time, it also kind of shows that he's like, F it, man. F it. We're just going to show it all. Because what do I got to hide? What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? Well, I mean, there's plenty of things that he could be potentially doing wrong for sure. If you're harassing people and all that stuff is illegal. But at the same time, though, maybe in his mind, he's like, F it. Why lie? You know what I'm saying? Why hide the truth when the private eyes are the ones who actually have the truth? So F it. Yeah, man. I had a couple private eyes. What of it, man? You want to come at me for that? Fine. I'll be in trouble for that. But I did not touch no littles. So you can accuse me of something that I did, which is bring in these PIs, but you bet not put no R charge on my name. Maybe that's what he's thinking in his mind. But this most definitely for sure exposes that piece, that there's possibly some illegal activity on his end using private eyes out here in these streets. Also, he knew. He knew her name. He knew exactly where she lived, who she was, and everything. And that happened way before private eyes got involved. Real talk. Remember the conference that Alex Spiro had? And he did a whole Jumbotron PowerPoint presentation, motion graphics and everything. He's like, and therefore, the timeline ain't timelining. Can't you see that, court of public opinion? My man, Jay-Z, is innocent. He did all that. And in one of the interviews, one of the questions after he's sweating profusely and hitting the clicker and going, next slide. As you can see, 20 minutes. You know what I mean? We saw all that. During the Q&A, what happened? They said, do you happen to know who this person is? This Jane Doe is? Do you know who this Jane Doe is? And Alex Spiro even said it in his answer. We will not be exposing her name. We will not be putting out her name at this moment, at this time. He literally, I mean, obviously I'm paraphrasing, but he literally said, for everyone out there, even the ones in the nosebleed seats, hey, we know who she is. We know her name, and of course, etc. So please we're not going to expose her. Not yet, at least. We're not going to expose her at this moment right now. Which is interesting, right? But now, more has come out. Yesterday, a lot of things dropped. Some big things dropped. Okay? Some big moments dropped. Some declarations from the private eyes came out. And now we're starting to understand and learn more about these private eyes interactions with Jane Doe. And they also expose more information about Jane Doe that I never thought I'd hear. I'm still very shocked with this information. And now there's this crazy tug of war that's going on right now that is absolutely insane. Now, one thing is for sure, I will still keep asking this question till we get an answer of some sort. Did or is, because he's currently still representing people, is Tony Busby properly vetting every single last accuser? Or is he just kind of stacking all these people up and just throwing them at Diddy? And, Jay-Z hasn't been hit with anything else yet that I know of. But as far as all these lawsuits, does he have a vetting process that is ironclad? That's the main question I'd like to know. Okay? That's what I'd like to know. Who's saying I'm being one-sided? That is diabolical. I ask all kind of questions, y'all. Chill, baby. Okay, I hop on both sides of the fence. All right, I ask all the questions. All of them questions. So chill. All right? Because I know some people are going to be like, Jay-Z is innocent. And a lot of people say she is telling the truth. Me, I flip-flop back and forth all the time with this one because this is so tough to answer. It's a tough one, y'all. This ain't easy. Okay? Shoo. This is tough. The tug of war is happening. But at the same time, we cannot forget that this lawsuit got dropped? Is it because of intimidation for real? Or is it because she was lying? Now, let's get into this. We got to take a look at this. Again, remember, we're reading the information. We're asking all the questions, okay? So chill and enjoy the show. So let's get into this, shall we? Let's take a look at this. This is from one of the investigators, all right? So Charlotte Henderson is the private eye. So female. We've so far only seen videos and photos of males. So this is a new one, okay? But these private investigators are indeed out here, and they are indeed running around, okay, talking to, well, they used to talk to content creators. I don't know if they are anymore, but they are running around talking to content creators. They are going after Tony Busby's former clients, maybe some clients that lost their lawsuits or lost in court, and they're going up to him and being like, hey, if we gave you some money to back your lawsuit against Busby Law Firm, would you be down for that? Which, by the way, that is also illegal. So if that is true, what Tony Busby claimed in his own lawsuit against Jay-Z, that'll be very interesting, right? That'll be very, very, very interesting because, again, they are now exposing the truth and saying, yes, there were PIs running around here talking to people. Private eyes are watching you, right? That's a deep cut. So moving on. This is a private eye. Charlotte Henderson declares as follows. I make this declaration in support of plaintiff ex parte application in connection with defendant's motion, special motion to strike. Unless otherwise noted, I have personal knowledge of the facts stated herein, and if called upon to testify, I could and would competently testify thereto. Excuse me. I am a licensed private investigator. I was not hired by plaintiff or plaintiff's attorneys to perform the investigation I describe in this declaration. On Friday, February 21st, 2025, so just a few weeks ago, along with the investigator James Butler, I met with plaintiff Jane Doe, the Jane Doe that we all know, all right? The person on whose behalf defendants filed the lawsuit captioned Jane Doe versus Sean Combs, all right? Moving on in New York, Southern District Southern District of New York, on December 20th, 2024, which is, of course, the lawsuit. To protect Jane Doe's privacy and identity, I am not disclosing her, I guess they're saying, oh yeah, I'm not disclosing here her name or any other facts that enable me to conclude the woman I met was, in fact, Miss Doe. Now, before we continue, obviously they know exactly who she is. They know exactly this Jane Doe's name. They know exactly where she lives. They know exactly the family. I'm sure they have her whole genealogy breakdown, okay? Her whole family tree at this point. And again, when you have money like Jay-Z, you can get a lot of information on anybody really, really fast, okay? Let's not forget, the NBC interview was conducted with her in person. I just want to remind you that. So even NBC News knew the Jane Doe's name. How did they get it? I don't know. Was it Tony Busby that reached out to NBC and said, hey, I want to get this Jane Doe on your show? If that's the case, that's very interesting. But I'm still kind of curious what the series of events that got Jane Doe on that infamous, now notorious NBC interview in the first place, because they had to reach out, or somebody had to reach out to NBC and say, put her on your show. So again, either way, Jay-Z found out that information, and shoot, he could put, hey, let me just slip a couple $100,000 under your under the table real quick. Cold hard cash. Here's a couple thousand for you. All right. And you just leave an envelope on the table. And if we happen to pick it up and it contains the woman's name inside of it, well, then, so be it, right? You're rich. I get my information, right? It's just very interesting. All right. So, and apparently, from my understanding, Jay-Z is still allowing her to stay anonymous, still allowing her to stay behind her Jane Doe pseudonym, which is very interesting as well. I'm telling you right now, if this continues, at some point, her name will be exposed. Whether Jay-Z wants it to be out there or not, somebody going to slip, somebody going to talk. I'm telling you right now, somebody going to talk. But let's continue. All right. So this private investigator got into this conversation. She's here. She's having the conversation, right? She meets with Jane Doe. So we met with Miss Doe, okay, on the front porch of her home in Alabama. So now we know she lives in Alabama. All right. I know it's a big state. A lot of people live in Alabama. It's not like just her, but it's very interesting. Okay. They know exactly where she lives, what she do, and everything. Miss Doe confirmed that she was, in fact, the Jane Doe plaintiff in the lawsuit. Miss Doe, Mr. Butler, and I were the only people present. So there was not just Charlotte Henderson, but another person by the name of Mr. Butler, okay, and Miss Doe. So another witness was in the room, or in the conversation, just so you know. So this person should be able to corroborate what Miss Henderson is putting in this declaration. All right. Throughout our discussion, Miss Doe appeared calm and at ease. She maintained a natural demeanor and engaged in conversation freely. Miss Doe's body language, including her nodding, relaxed posture, and steady tone of voice, reinforced that she did not feel scared or intimidated during the interaction. We're going to come back to that conversation or that statement here in just a second. At no point during our interaction did Miss Doe request to be left alone. During our conversation, Miss Doe told me, among other things, the following facts. A, she saw an advertisement on Facebook for the AVA or AVA law group law firm concerning Sean Combs. So the AVA law group, I'm assuming it's AVA, okay, referred her to defendant Tony Busby and his lawsuit. Now, let me pause this really quick because I got to go to a whole other slide after I say part C. One thing is for sure, someone can seem, real talk, someone can seem calm in person, and then as soon as you leave, crumble. Also, you got to remember, there is passive aggressive intimidation tactics that do exist, right? Or subtle intimidation tactics that happen. We're not here to scare you. We're friends. Hey, buddy. Hey, pal. But then they leave, and then there's that lasting impression afterwards. There's that aftertaste, right? It's that aftertaste like, oh my God, they know where I live. They know exactly where I live. They just came to my front porch. Oh my God, this is terrifying. Some of these things have lasting impressions. So you can't automatically sit there and say, oh yeah, she was totally calm and willing to talk. You also got to remember, she is on the spectrum as well. She is on the spectrum and allegedly suffered head trauma. So she may not be processing everything in real time right then and there. She might process things later. And it doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter if you're on the spectrum or not. It is something to put on the table and to consider, right? To put in consideration. But even someone who's not on the spectrum is going to sit there and go, wait a second. Whoa, they just found my home. They know where I live. They know my name. What the hell is going on? Still, someone who's on the spectrum or not is still a terrifying thought, right? I'm just saying, just on the side of Jane Doe's perspective and how humans think, right? Not every time are they just immediately saying, get the F off my lawn. You know what I mean? Not everybody's Clint Eastwood up in this piece. All right. Get off my lawn. No. Sometimes they're like, oh God. Hi. Yes. Everyone reacts to situations like this differently. Okay. Some are calm and some are very reactive, right? Get off my lawn. What the hell you do in my face? Right. So again, I could see this having a lasting impression after they leave and make anyone feel some type of way. Miss Doe met with Busby for the first time in Houston, Texas. He paid to fly her there. Their meeting to discuss the case took place when Miss Doe flew out for an interview that Mr. Busby had arranged for Miss Doe to give to NBC News in Mr. Busby's office. Interesting. Okay. So Mr. Busby arranged for her to give that interview in Busby's office. I'm just something about that seems off. Am I reading that correctly? Hold on. Okay, so he met for the first time in Houston, Texas. He paid to fly her there. Their meeting to discuss the case took place when Miss Doe flew out for an interview that Mr. Busby had arranged for Miss Doe to give to NBC News in Mr. Busby's office. That's weird, right? Now, what's interesting about that information is it doesn't look like they're in his office in that NBC News interview. Hold on. It looks like they're like in her. It looks like they're in her. Almost looks like they're in her home. Yeah, maybe he arranged the interview to get the interview going on the phone in his office, right? Because let me just show you this still, because this most definitely does not look like Tony Busby's office. You see what I'm saying? Look at that. Boom. You see what I'm saying? Look at all the paint on the walls and all that stuff. The butterfly in the corner, the top right corner. So maybe what they mean is while they were in the office, at his office, he arranged this interview with NBC News. Maybe that's what they mean. But I could see people reading that and going, wait a second, the hell does that mean, man? The hell does that mean? But let's continue on. All right. So Jane Doe stated to me that Mr. Carter, Jay-Z, did not SA her. Jane Doe stated to me that she originally told Mr. Busby that she had been R'd by Sean Combs and a world-renowned celebrity, female celebrity, was also present for the attack, and that Mr. Busby suggested that she claim that Jay-Z was the other monster. Jay-Z stated Busby brought Jay-Z into it. This is what they're saying, quote unquote. She said this verbatim. Busby brought Jay-Z into it. He was the one that kind of pushed me towards going forward with him, with Jay-Z. Jane Doe said that Mr. Busby asked her if Mr. Carter had been at the party. Miss Doe told Mr. Busby that Mr. Carter, Jay-Z, was at the party, but she told me that Jay-Z, Mr. Carter, did not take part in any SA of Miss Doe. Jane Doe confirmed the following regarding Mr. Carter during our interview. Let me just make this abundantly clear. I hope to God that they have this. Did she sign any paperwork? Because I could have sworn they said, or she said, when we talked about this a couple days ago, that they were trying to get her to sign some paperwork and, like an affidavit of some sort to basically say, I lied. None of this is true. Tony Busby made me do it type thing, right? And she said, I'm not going to sign that. But it seems like they recorded her. And I'm wondering if they have any recording or if they just took these notes down or if they're just making this up. That's still a possibility too. But again, I can't help but wonder, are they actually recording her during this interview or this conversation? Do they actually have solid evidence of this? Because right now this is all he said, she said stuff. Potentially, if you don't have it recorded. The other part is, depending on the state and recording people, you know what I mean, the law of that, it all depends on the law behind that as well, because certain states you can't record somebody unbeknownst to them. You can't just do some covert audio recording without that person knowing, right? The second party would have to know that you're recording them during a conversation. So I'm wondering if this was all recorded or if this is just what they're remembering off the top of the dome. And again, these private eyes are obviously paid by Rock Nation or whoever else, maybe even Diddy and Bad Boy Records as well. And shoot, they could basically potentially say anything they want just so that they sound good for their client. For the client that's representing them, aka paying them to do, to be here and file out this declaration. But again, these are legal docs. If they are lying, they could be in much big trouble for filing false documents, right? So again, I'm wondering, did they record this or no? But she confirmed the following in our interview. Quote unquote, Jay-Z had nothing to do with this, correct? Right. Other than he was at the party that you were at. So, I mean, he did not attack you? No. He was just there, but he didn't have anything to do with any sexual acts towards you. Yeah. Jane Doe said to me that lawyers at Busby's law firm told her that if she pursued Mr. Carter, Jay-Z, she would get a payout. Jane Doe said to me that shortly before Mr. Busby dismissed the lawsuit against Mr. Carter, Tony Busby told Jane Doe that Jay-Z was threatening to unalive her in response to her lawsuit and could come after her. Upon hearing that, Jane Doe agreed to drop the case. So she heard from Tony Busby that Jay-Z is threatening to take her out. And this is the reason why she agreed to drop the case. That he could take her out and he'd be coming after her, which is interesting. And that's why she dropped the case. Let's move on, though. That's interesting. And of course, the source is Tony Busby, allegedly. Interesting. Moving on, Ms. Doe stated 4 times that Mr. Carter did not attack her. She mentioned 4 times he did not touch her. After Ms. Doe had voluntarily and consistently affirmed this, we inquired whether she would be open to signing an affidavit reflecting what she had told us. She responded by saying, "But how does this help me?" What? And then, of course, Charlotte Henderson says, "I declare under penalty of perjury under the laws of the state of California that the foregoing is true and correct. Executed on this day, 4th of March, which was 2 whole days ago, March of 2025. at Montgomery, Alabama. Interesting, guys. That's just one of the private eyes speaking so far. Fascinating information, though. Fascinating. Fascinating indeed. Let me get the other one. There's another private eye that wrote out a declaration as well. And I think this one's very interesting. This one is extremely bad. Let me just say that. This is not good. This is not a good one for Jane Doe. For this Jane Doe. Like I said, private eyes watching you. You know what I mean? They out here. Okay? These private eyes are no joke, man. And again, it only gets crazier, this information. But what say you guys? Okay? What? Hey, I'm here for the I'm here for the I'm here for the information and the entertainment at the same doggone time. Let's not forget that. But what's interesting about this? Yeah, Quee, she's like, "Sing it, Pascal, sing it." Yeah, that's what we're here for. We're here to have the conversation and have a little bit of fun, a tiny bit, all in due time. Okay, but thank you, I appreciate it. But here it is. So far, you heard what one private eye is saying. She didn't sign the paperwork, and she said, allegedly, I'm just going to say that again, allegedly, according to this private eye is saying that she said, well, how would that help me? By signing this affidavit, how would that help me? What about me? Well, it wouldn't help her at all. Unless, and only unless, private eyes were going to her and saying, we will give you the monies. We will give you buckets of money for you to sign this affidavit. Maybe that was the situation, trying to get her to sign and give her some money. But you got to remember, she is still coming out. She came out with a declaration herself saying that these private eyes came out. They were asking me to sign paperwork. They were threatening me and all that stuff. They made the interaction very intimidating. I mean, that says enough right there, right? So she didn't sign nothing, and she did not get any payment. There was no settlement. There was no money. There was no check being, there was no quid pro quo, okay? None of that is what happened. None of it happened, I'm sorry, okay? Which is very interesting. But now we got another one, okay? We got a whole other one from another private investigator. Another one. And by the way, this guy, Ian Pillinger, just so you know, is not Mr. Butler, whoever Mr. Butler is. Hold on. Let me just get that other one real quick. Because again, the question remains, who be that there's no conversation on a Butler. Okay, like I said, excuse me. She says, Miss Jane Doe, Mr. Butler, and I were the only people present. So who's Mr. Butler? Could Mr. Butler be her dad? I don't know who Mr. Butler is. Because it does not say anything. There's no mention of a name, something Butler, John Butler, for example. Okay. There is no name. Oh, there it is. My bad. So along with James Butler, there it is. Sorry about that, guys. I was wondering who's Butler? So James Butler, okay. James Butler was the other private eye. So they got a gang of private eyes out here going and interviewing and talking to people all over the place. And they're going 2 by 2. Ain't that crazy? Ain't that crazy? So Ian Pillinger probably had a whole other person with him, working in tandem, teamwork, knocking on people's doors. Remember the video that I showed you guys from Secret Service Sam, I think it is, on TikTok. There was another content creator on YouTube that talked about this. There's plenty of other TikTokers that talked about this for a second, right? They literally were going out and knocking on people's doors. Some of these private eyes would show up in threes. There's footage that Tony Busby used saying, hey, these guys are going out of their way to knock on former clients' doors and seeing if they are willing or wanting to sue me and my firm. And they want to payroll the lawsuit, which is illegal. But they're still knocking on people's doors and saying, hey, how much would it be for you to sue Tony Busby and the law firm? And they're calling people, knocking on their doors, etc. It's insane, guys. It's insane. And so now we are finding out for sure that one, it's all true and that we're not crazy and that these content creators aren't making this up, which I never thought they were making it up. But two is that Jay-Z's behind a good portion of this and could be working with Diddy to do this as well. Think about that too. So we got Ian Pillinger. He has a declaration, okay? I make this declaration in support of plaintiff ex parte application in connection with defendant's special motion to strike. Unless otherwise noted, I have personal knowledge of the facts stated herein, and if called upon to testify, I could and would competently testify thereto. So yeah, he's like, if you want to call me up to the stand, come on, I'm ready. Put me in, coach. Same thing with Charlotte, okay, Henderson, with what she said too. I will testify if you want me to, okay? I'm an employee of Guidepost Solutions, LLC, which is licensed to conduct investigations in the state of New York. I was provided the name of plaintiff Jane Doe, Miss Doe, the person on whose behalf defendants filed the lawsuit captioned as Jane Doe versus Sean Combs. We already know all about this. Based on publicly available records and internet searches, this investigation revealed the following information about Jane Doe. To protect Jane Doe's privacy and identity, I am not disclosing her name, which, thank you. But at the same time, woo, this is going to be bad, guys. Get ready for a wild ride. Number 3, Jane Doe has a legally documented history of mental health issues. A, her parents have custody over her son, and she lost custody over her daughter because an Alabama court determined that Doe has engaged in a series of activities both before and after the child's birth that the court found, quote unquote, to be inconsistent with someone demonstrating good mental health. Don't worry, we're going to come back to A. Let's just get to B really quick. B, according to the court in that case, Jane Doe has a history of bipolar disorder, so BD, borderline personality disorder, BPD, obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD, and psychogenic non-epileptic seizures, PNES. Jane Doe's doctor gave a deposition in that case, a transcript of which is publicly available, in which the doctor stated that Jane Doe has a history of auditory hallucinations, that is, hearing voices that other people don't hear. I'm sorry, I got to hit that. Okay, we got to stop right there for a second. I need to go back up to A. There's a lot. I know everyone's like, you're going back up to A? Like, there's so much going on here. Okay, first off, let me just say this, okay? So apparently she has more than one child. Okay? She at least has 2 children. Her parents have custody over one of the children. She lost custody over one of her other kids. You understand how hard it is for a mom to lose custody over their child? I'm being dead ass. Sorry, guys, just for a second, think about this. And all you single men out there, if you find out that the girl that you're dating has a kid that they don't have custody over, don't date them anymore. I'm sorry, guys. Just walk the other way. All right, you're in a world of trouble. But here, let me tell you this, okay? To lose custody over your child is a lot. I want to make that abundantly clear. That is courts usually are a lot more lenient on the mother-child custody thing for the most part. You have to really do something terrible. So if this is any way, shape, or form true, and when they did their internet searches and all that stuff, that they found the right person and all of that, I'm telling you right now, that is bad. That is terrible right off the bat. The fact that her parents have custody over her son, and then she lost custody over her daughter, and the daughter's probably with with the dad, the biological father, that's insane. Again, that is some very, 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 very bad stuff. Very bad stuff right off the bat. And yes, there are plenty of parents that have bipolar or borderline personality disorder or OCD, okay, or seizures and live a good life and are good parents out there. So to me, yes, that's very telling for sure. But if you're on the right meds, getting the right kind of therapy and getting the right help, you can live a good life. You can have kids and all that stuff, right? So that is very interesting. Takes me out completely. Then also on top of that, here's the other part. History of auditory hallucinations. Let me say that again. She has a history. This is what the doctor said in his deposition. Her own doctor said that she has a history of auditory hallucinations. She hears voices that other people don't hear. That is a massive, massive piece of information. Let me explain. Remember when we watched her interview several weeks ago, and we all were like, whoa, this is crazy. And I even said this theory. And just rock with me for a second. There's a couple things that she says in that interview and what she claims in her lawsuit. Think about this for a second. In her mind, and I'm going to still say this, in her mind, let's just say none of this happened. She's lying through her damn teeth. But in her mind, she believes it to be true. So, of course, she's going to sit there and go, yes, this happened. This really happened to me. It happened. I swear. It happened to me. I remember it like it was yesterday. But in her mind, that's what's playing to be true. But in reality, it never happened. Now, I understand it's auditory hallucinations, but maybe there's hallucinations as well. Maybe she is fabricating things in her mind, believing them to be true, only to find out that it never happened. It's like, in those wild movies that we see where at the end you realize that the main character has been talking to their best friend the entire movie, only to find out that they were never really talking to anyone at all. You know what I'm saying? It's like Fight Club. Okay. Spoiler alert. It's like when Edward Norton's talking to Brad Pitt the entire time, and then only to find out near the end of the movie, he realizes that he's been talking by himself and he's been alone this entire time, and he's the one doing all the crimes and all that stuff. That could very well be the situation here. She's having full-on conversations with Good Charlotte band members, okay, one of the lead guys of Good Charlotte, saying, oh, I love the tattoo of the Last Supper on your forearm and stuff, only to find out that conversation never really happened, because he's like, sweetheart, I was in the Midwest on tour at that time. I was nowhere near a party, an after party at the VMAs. I was on tour, man. I was gone. But she's fabricating these things in her mind and believing them to be true. So again, like I said before, these theories could very well be true as far as what's going on in her mind. If she has all these disorders, these mental health issues, have mercy. And if they're not, being taken care of, it could be a world of trouble, a world of problems. And it sounds like she's got a world of problems because we ain't even done yet. This is just the tip of the iceberg, y'all. I'm just telling y'all, this is just the tip. Hold on, we're gonna continue. But before we do, real quick, hit that like button down below, please, and thank you. Crush it if you can. That'd be greatly appreciated. Crush that like button down below, please. And of course, don't forget to crush that subscribe button, okay? It helps the show. It helps get the story out here, okay? You know, just so you guys know, this is just fascinating stuff to me. And let me get these real quick. Of course, Nikki, thank you so much for being a member for the past 8 months. And of course, thank you so much for gifting 1 membership. Excuse me. All I ask, please, okay, for you who just became a member, welcome to the family. Pay it forward. Do something positive for somebody out there, okay? Nikki gave you some positivity. Just do the same to somebody, all right? It's simple, all right? It could be the simplest thing, but just push forward that positivity if you can. Let's continue because there's more. There's so much more, okay? So, history of auditory hallucinations, meaning she's hearing voices that no one else hears, okay? She's having conversations and stuff like that, and I'm sure she's fabricating scenarios in her mind that did not ever exist, okay? Now, Jane Doe was in a mental health facility less than 90 days before the defendant in this case sent their demand letter. Wow. She has recently been under the care of a psychologist. She regularly posts on social media, including on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, about the difficulties she has living with her condition. That could be okay, I'm going to say it. F it. That could be a that could be a thing. That could be a hustle. That could be a hustle. Okay, I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it fully. What I'm trying to explain is sometimes people take their, I've seen it. Some people take their, ailments or their mental health issues, stuff like that. And some people go out and try to use it as to get sympathy views. Does that make sense? Some do it because for the good of like, hey, I want to reach out to the community of other people that have the same mental health issues as I do, so on and so forth. But some people use it to try to secure a bag. I'm sorry. I've seen it. It's true. I've seen people who sit there and even people who are trying, it's so messed up, but I've seen people, and we've heard about it and we've covered it on the show in the years past, but people will literally go, here is my son, or here is my daughter. She has stage 4 cancer, and the kid will literally have stage 4 cancer, right? But then they'll use that GoFundMe or that crowd funding site and use that money not even for the kid, not even for the medicine that the kid needs. You see what I'm saying? They just exploit this one thing and then they make a bag out of it, right? It's sad. Even talking about it makes me feel guilty. It kind of chokes me up because I can't believe that there are people like that actually exist, but it does actually happen, guys. So just saying that. And so in my mind, I'm like, if she has a history of all this stuff, what are the chances of her constantly putting this stuff out to secure a bag? Maybe I'll go viral on TikTok. So, from pity views and stuff like that. And maybe that'll, I'll have become a star, make money off of my ailments and stuff. I'm sorry. It's just, but it exists. I hate the fact that it exists, but it does. Okay. But moving on, it breaks my heart when I even just talking about it, but it's real. It's very, very real. So she alleged in a child custody case that the unwedded father of one of her children believed he was Jesus Christ. Blasphemy. But moving on. And I don't know if she's just lying about that. That could be showing a history of her just making things up and lying. That's possible. Jane Doe also has a criminal history. Get out. Say it ain't so. In 2023, so not so long ago, Jane Doe was indicted on a charge of attacking and causing physical injury on a detention officer. She was released on bond, but she has thrice since had her bond revoked because she failed two D tests, and tampered with a third. What? Oh, my Lord. Oh, my Lord. We're going to talk about the substance use here in a second. Most recently, she failed a substance test on August 19th, 2024. So this past summer, which caused her case to be transferred from mental health court back to district court. So she failed the substance test this past summer, and something that was supposed to be in mental health court got moved to district court. And Hibiscus, I agree. I want to see proof of all this. Again, there's a lot of information. It's like, you got to be sure you have the right girl. You have the right Jane Doe? You sure you got the right Jane Doe? Right? It does make you want to know, how solid is this information, right? Because this is diabolical stuff. There could be a whole other Jane Doe. You know, you could type in somebody's name and get a completely different person sometimes, and you just think that that's the person. So I wonder how accurate and how true all of this is. I want to see the proof too, but these allegations are wild. Earlier in 2023, Jane Doe was charged with attack with bodily fluids. What? Now, again, that could be spit or someone throwing number one or number two at you. So I'm wondering what that is. She could have spat on somebody. That's possible. Okay. But, what the heck happened here, right? In 2022, she pled guilty to unlawfully using or possessing paraphernalia. Jane Doe has accused at least 4 people other than Jay-Z of SA. Jane Doe accused someone of SA and branding her on her cheek, but the court dismissed the claim. Say what? Think about this for a second. Branding her on her cheek. And of course the court dismissed it. Why? Why, you ask? Because if you get branded on your cheek, that's on your face forever. So you mean to say to me that she showed up to court without a brand on her cheek? Think about it. And then of course the court was like, "Oh, let's just continue. It's fine. She doesn't have a brand on her face. Let's just continue. Let's just continue with the trial." No, the court's going to be like, "No. Her claims are not true. Her claims are false. What she claims the proof does not back her claims." Where's the branding on her cheek? It's not like that stuff miraculously just disappears. That's on your face for life. For life. This is a very interesting individual so far, guys. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts so far? In a social media post, Jane Doe stated that she was a victim of SA when she was 6 years old. According to her ex-husband. Interesting. Wait a second. So she has, okay, so she got one baby daddy and she got an ex-husband, just so you guys know. So according to her ex-husband, Jane Doe falsely accused the ex-husband of putting his hands, oh dear Lord, on their daughter they have together. Oh dear Lord. Oh my Lord, this list is just getting crazy. She also accused a man on social media of seeking unthinkable, disgusting content showing littles, okay, in exchange for money, and posted a picture of his face. She just made it up. She just said, this man is trying to get nasty photos of littles, and here's his face. Oh boy. She posted on social media regarding a separate incident where someone allegedly carved the word freak into her chest against her will. Oh. Okay. All right, guys. And then of course that's the end of that one. All right. Let me just say this. If this is true, the freak carving, where then she should be able to just go, boom, here it is, guys. Here's the carving on my chest. You see what I'm saying? Say less. Boom, right here. It's right there. Don't you see it? It's right there. Are you kidding me? Again, these allegations, these are only allegations. Yes, they're sitting there saying, I declare under penalty of perjury, under the laws of the state of California, that the foregoing is true and correct. And they are willing to testify under oath about this information. Again, my question is, what do you think? What are your thoughts on this? Because this is insane. This is insane. The laundry list of lies, the laundry list of substance of using substances, her criminal history, the fact that she has no custody over her own children, by the way. I'm sorry. They started with that one. And that is a huge red flag. Not saying that every mom that loses custody over their child are lying about SA, you know what I mean? I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that clearly she is not fit to be a mother. The courts found her to be not fit to legally have responsibility over her own children. That is a massive thing, guys. That is massive. All right? That is a huge tell. For any person, oh, wow, you don't have your kid? Why not? And if they're telling the truth, usually it's, you know. But again, this is crazy, guys. Just starting off with that is very interesting and very telling. But at the same time, this is all alleged. This is just from internet searches. Let's go back to that beginning one, that first one. What did he say in the very beginning? This is available records, publicly available records, and internet searches. So of course he went to her social media, checked out her social media, saw that she was on the various platforms that a lot of us are on, right? Facebook to TikTok, right? He saw all that stuff. There's other publicly available records that show about her arrests, that show about her failing certain substance tests and all that stuff. It showed all of that. Then, of course, the custody battle, the fact that she lost custody over her daughter, the fact that she lost custody over her son, the fact that her parents have custody over her son. And again, this also shows you proof positive that the parents are still willing to take care of her and their grandson. So to me, I'm like, if the dad is a bad guy, would they be, first off, would they even have custody over her son? No. If they were a bad parent, if the dad was like an absentee father, would he have, and was a bad dad, would he have custody over the son? Now I know courts can be wild, okay? And he can maybe come off like, we got to entertain that side of the story too, or side of this possibility that he could be on paper and in the courts looking like he's such a great guy and a great dad, right? But only to find out that behind closed doors he's a monster. That's possible too. But at the same time, courts saw him fit, including his wife, to have custody over their grandson. So that says something there too. But what's interesting about this, though, too, is that in that interview with NBC, and they talked about her getting picked up by dad and driven 5-6 hours back home to northern state New York, okay, upstate New York. Not once did he say in the interview, at least they didn't use a clip of his statement, but I feel like, wouldn't he say like, yes, I feel like I would remember that, but I do know my daughter has some mental health issues. Wouldn't he say that instantly? Like, listen, if I went out and picked her up 5 hours out in the middle of the nowhere around New York City, and she was only 13 when that happened, I would totally remember that for sure. But I also need to say that my daughter does have mental health issues. And I'm wondering if he actually says that, because he doesn't say that in the interview. I'm sure he said it, but they cut it out or something. But I feel like that would be something I would say instantly. My daughter does have mental health issues. She has a history of mental health issues. But like I said, I would remember that if I had to do something like that. So it's interesting. Interesting for sure. And again, yeah, the father thing, I would remember that like it was yesterday. For sure. But again, at the same time, this all could be bupkis. This all could be lies. This all could be a full-on attempt to smear this woman's name. Oh, look at all this crazy stuff that she's done. She's evil. You see how evil she is? Maybe none of this is true. Maybe all of it is true. But at the same time, so it's just a wild piece of information, guys. This is a wild piece of information. What say you guys? This is some crazy stuff. This is some seriously wild stuff. Do you believe it? Do you think it's absolute BS? What are your thoughts on this? Again, we have to leave on the table that Jay-Z was on. Remember, he already has a history. He already has a history of trying to destroy Tony Busby as well. He went on a full-on rampage smear campaign trying to destroy Tony Busby, and he's still on that wave. He's still on that vibe. Okay, he's still on that vibe with him, but now his focus has been on Jane Doe, and now he's out here trying to destroy her name or expose her. So the question is this just one big old smear campaign, an attempt to sway the court of public opinion back over to his quote unquote good graces? Or is this all true? Because if this is all true, does not look good for the Jane Doe. And for those who have been watching the NBC interview. And for those that were, and maybe for those who have been sitting on the fence going, I don't know, maybe she's lying, maybe she's not, all that, this type of information could definitely knock them over on one side or the other. This could definitely sway people to say, okay, she's a liar. It is what it is. She's a liar. Or it just makes people more vexed than ever before. But this is the reason why I'm going, where is the evidence? Where is the proof now? What is Tony Buzbee and Buzbee's law firm's vetting process? Are they really making sure that every single last one of the lawsuits that they have coming out is actually telling the truth or has enough evidence to back up their claims? You got to remember, this is kind of like a domino getting knocked over in the court of public opinion. Yes, I know that there's other people that are going to die on the hill of saying she's not lying, she's telling the truth, right? And vice versa. There's other people that are like, nah, she's lying, she capped, right? And I understand that piece. But you got to remember, and I understand the struggle. This is a real struggle, and it sucks because you just want the victims to be telling the truth, and that's it. And I totally understand that completely, okay? But what's very interesting about this is, what does this say for the other victims that are telling the truth out there, guys? Think about that. Okay? The ones that we don't have to think or wonder, are they telling the truth or not? The ones that are stepping forward and saying, hey, this did happen to me. It had to do with Diddy, blah, blah, blah. Even Jay-Z, if his name ever gets brought back up in a conversation or in a lawsuit again. Like I said, what kind of effect does this have on the true victims that are out here trying to get their story out there and getting the justice that they feel like they rightfully deserve? Situations like this suck. And I get it. There are people who are mad about right now in the chat. People are mad, right? Like in the very beginning. Oh, you one-sided, Pascal. No, I'm not. I'm asking the questions that everybody needs to ask for themselves as well. Think independently and critically for yourself. For me, this is a tough one. Some days I go, she lied. And then there's other days where I'm like, maybe she didn't lie. But stuff like this, allegations like this, a track record, internet searches and of publicly available records like this, woo, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. But then I look at some things. A couple things in here. She claims that she was SA'd when she was 6 years old, right? What if she's telling the truth there, guys? What if her mental health issues, her journey with and battle with mental health started then? Let's look at the other side of the fence here really quick, because I know a lot of people are like, oh, she lying. Case closed. It's a wrap. She's cooked, right? Let's talk about the other side. All of these mental health issues that she's dealing with, the substance abuse, all that, her criminal record, basically, right? Her criminal history and all that. What are the possibilities of her actually being attacked? And it started when she was a little. And then again, it happens when she was only in her teens with Jay-Z and Diddy. And then the spiral down a deep, dark hole of darkness and issues with mental health ensued. Like I said, I'm just talking about the other side for a second. What are the possibilities? There are real stories out there where there have been victims that were attacked as littles and continued to be attacked for most of their life, surrounded by nothing but bad people that would constantly hurt them, right? And then they find their vices or find their escape through substances and all that. It's possible. And then if they don't go treated, they go on through their life untreated, there can be a lot of bad things that can happen. But here's the thing, though. She has parents. The parents have custody over her one of her kids. The baby daddy has custody over one of the other kids. She lives in the house with her parents. She is being looked after by a psychologist. So again, it's not like she's surrounded by people, and it's not like she's living off the streets, just spiraling out of control with her mental health issues. She's home. From my understanding, she is getting the counseling and the therapy and the help that she needs, at least from what we're reading in these documents. So again, it just makes you wonder. I don't know. It just makes you wonder. This is a tough one, guys, right? This is a tough one. But like I said, what say you guys? I mean, this is not the easiest one to do. It's frustrating because, like I said, the people who are out here, the most of us that want to believe, because we're good-hearted people, and we believe that there's no way a person would just make up saying that they're a victim of something like this. There's just no way, because we believe that people are good-natured individuals, and that innately we wouldn't do that, because that's just wrong. And that shows how good you guys are, right? How good human beings are. I truly believe that humans are naturally, genuinely good people. But then there are some people, unfortunately, that will lie, that will make things up for their own financial gain, or maybe because of mental health issues. I don't know. But at the same time, we have to leave that door cracked open. I hate to say that, but we've seen it time and time again, where allegations come out, we destroy and chastise the person who's been accused. And then months, months later, years later, we find out that accuser was lying about the incident and lying about the accused. We've seen it time and time again. We're seeing it right now in real time with Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively as well. Dead ass. We're seeing that right now in real time. We saw it with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. We watched that whole thing in real time in court. There was no denying it. Holy crap. Amber Heard. Woo! She's something else. And because it sucks. And that sucks because instantly you want to say, Amber Heard, I stand with you, girl. Yes, be strong. You know what I mean? And then only to find out she crumbles when she takes the stand. Everything that she said was, huh? I was stung by a bee. Remember all that stuff? Remember all of that? Hamburger. Well, somebody just said in the chat, let's not forget Carlee mother-loving Russell. Yeah, she saw a white baby on the side of an interstate, pulled over to go save the baby, called up 911 and said, I see a baby on the side of the road. Come get him. And then literally rips off. Some people forgot about this part. Somebody forgot about this part. She ripped off her own doggone wig. And no, it wasn't like bobby pins and all that stuff. It was glued onto her mother-loving head, her laced front. Ripped the doggone thing off and threw it into the car or threw it into the grass and then just ran into the shrubbery. That's what she did. And what happened? Everybody, because we're good people, went out of their way to run out there trying to find this woman, only to find out that she was in some sort of Red Roof Inn eating nothing but Cheez-Its and granola bars. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. So instantly, because we're good people, we go out of our way trying to find or trying to help the victims. And sometimes, just sometimes, not all the time, just sometimes, those victims are lying. And instead of us getting mad at the, like me, for example, don't get mad at me. I'm not the one dealing with these lawsuits. I'm just giving you guys the information. So instead of us getting mad at each other as well, look at the information and let it sit, let it marinate. Because you know for a fact in 5 seconds, there's going to be more information that comes out that might sway you even more to the other side or make you stand even more rooted on the side that you're standing in. But for right now, this is some damning stuff. She has a very, very dark past if these allegations are true. But she's saying in her own declaration that what happened to her and her interaction with private eyes was completely different. And that's why she felt intimidated. And that's why she wanted to drop the lawsuit. Because of their interaction with her. Not because Tony Busby went up to her and said, Jay-Z's threatening you, you know. And she's like, well, okay, well, I don't want any part of that. Let's just drop the lawsuit. That's not what she's claiming. She's claiming something different. So again, it is a lot of, he said, she said right now. And I'm telling you right now, as time goes on, we're going to get more information. This is not over yet, y'all. This is most definitely not over yet. Okay? Real talk, it's not over yet. She ripped out her whole lace front and threw it into the grass. Sorry, Carlee Russell's case just blows my mind. Sorry for that left turn, but Carlee Russell's case blows my mind. She had a nice ride too. That whip was nice. Nice little Mercedes. Okay, yes, she sacrificed a whole lace front. Ripped it off her head. Do you know how hard that would hurt like a mug, man? Ripped that whole thing off. Ripped that whole thing off and then just discarded it and did this whole like, oh my God, while on the phone. Ma'am. You know what I mean? This is 911, ma'am. What is it? Where is that thing? Where's that thing? Hold on.
Ma'am, 911, ma'am. Yes, there's a white baby on the side of the road. Ma'am, stay with me, ma'am. That's what happened.
That's what happened. Oh, let's not forget she stole money from the tip jar from the spa that she worked at too. What? Oh, it's like it's those memories. You know what I mean? Ham burger. She stole money from the tip jar, went to a Target, if I remember correctly, got herself some Cheez-Its and some granola bars. Oh, and some toilet paper. Got into the car. Oh, picked up some to-go food from a joint. Got into the car. Went off into the highway. Saw a white baby. Pulled over. Made the 911 call. And then did her best. She did her best. I'm sorry. Oh, let's not forget too. Oh, I'm so sorry. She even before she even left, she Googled things like how long does it take to file a missing person case, a missing person's name. She even Googled the movie Taken. You can't make this stuff up. She did that. And then she stole money from the tip jar, grabbed a robe from the spa, went to Target, got the stuff, got the toilet paper, got the takeout food for her mom and dad and herself, to stick with the story, got in her nice, beautiful, freaking red Mercedes, okay? And then drove onto the highway. And then that's when she saw the white baby. Let's not forget the balding, red-headed man, all right, and the white woman that kept playing with her hair as she fed Carlee with Cheez-Its. I'm sorry. And then the other part is, do you guys remember? Oh my God, I'm sorry for this left turn. Real talk in the conversation. Just think. Let me know in the comments. Just think about this. But I'm sorry. This just made me think of this too. Oh my God, I remember. Oh my God. Okay, what are your thoughts? Do you believe this or not? We're gonna end it there. But let me just say this really quick. Okay, do you guys? Okay, not only just the Cheez-Its, not only all that stuff. But you remember people were going in and rewatching the clips and going, you don't see that guy running up and taking her? You don't see that glitch? Look at that. Look at that shadowy figure right by the sign, right by the big old sign. You don't see that guy right there, and he's running out, and he's grabbing her, and he's taking her. You don't see that footage? You don't see it in the footage? Remember that BS that was going on? I'm like, I don't see nobody. There's nobody there. There's nothing there. There's nobody there. There's nobody there. That was insane. People were just dissecting the hell out of grainy black and white footage. Does not anybody remember that? Oh my God. It was so dumb. It was so dumb. Oh, you don't see it? Oh, definitely. There's a man. You don't see that man? You don't see that other car over there turning around in the grass, picking her up, putting her on a four-wheeler? Oh my God. Nobody remembers this? Oh my God. It was so bad. They're like, there's a four-wheeler coming out. You don't see that ATV coming out and picking her up, throwing her on the back, and it's just riding into the sunset? Like, what the hell? What the hell? Oh, my God. Okay, but that was... Oh, it was the height of true crime. That was the height of true crime right there. Oh my God. People will want to see whatever they want to see. Real talk. We're at that point now. All right. It could be a glitchy black and white in the dark video, right? And they'll be like, "Oh, I can see ghosts in there. Don't you see that shadow? It's a depiction of Jesus Christ right there." You know what I mean? Oh my gosh, it's Jesus, mother loving Christ. You know what I mean? Oh my God. But the Taken, the Googles, everything, it was everything. It was everything that really existed, guys. But again, it tugged at our heartstrings. We wanted to find this young woman because we cared and we believed it to be true. We believed the whole thing to be true, guys. I'm sorry. Yeah, I did start speaking in tongues. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. But think about that for a second, guys. This is exactly what I'm talking about, right? There are bad actors out there. They do exist, whether it's because of mental health or because, like with Carlee Russell's case, she felt some type of way and she wanted some attention, right? And oh, damn, this thing went national. This went international. Everybody cares. Oh, damn, I just wanted to get my boyfriend jealous. Whoops. Sheesh. Right? But again, all of us are out here because we care and we want things to be better, right? We want justice for those who can't they believe they can't get the justice that they rightfully deserve. But then we have people that are bad actors out here that tarnish, right? They're like that bad apple, that gets in there and messes up the whole bowl of fruit because of that one thing they did. We stay true and we try to find the truth, period, point blank, for the ones, for the voiceless, right? That's why we're here. But they still do exist. From time to time, we do get some people that do not tell the truth. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that this person is lying, that this Jane Doe is lying. I'm just saying there is a possibility of that, but there is a possibility of her actually telling the whole truth and nothing but. And of course, as time goes on, we'll get more information. But she is literally saying, this Jane Doe is saying that she's not lying. So what say you? Do you believe her or no? Like I said, we are good-hearted people. We are good-natured people. This is the reason why we fight so hard for the voiceless. This is why we believe the victims when they initially come out. Because we're good people. And sometimes it's hard to believe that there are bad actors out here, like these other cases that we've seen. It sucks and it angers us. And it's like, I just can't believe it. Because that harsh reality sucks. And it's painful to hear that. And I understand. I truly do. Nurse Janice, thank you so much for being a member for the past 17 months. I appreciate it. Please play the short of you and your sister reaction of the press conference. I have not laughed so hard. I gotta find that. Yeah, why not? Just for 2 seconds. Why not? Let's have a little bit of fun. A little trip down memory lane. Why not? What say you guys, though? What say you guys? Do you believe what's being said here? Or do you think, or do you think she's lying? Let me see if I can find it. This is going to be a tough one. Hold on. Because this was insane. This is insane. Okay. Little trip down memory lane, shall we? Just a little context. That's my sister, okay? We also have we have our own podcast. We may be on tomorrow. I don't know. But I'll let you guys know in the community page. But we have our own little podcast as well called the Real Beef with S&P. She's also a YouTuber as well. But back then she came on to the show to watch this press conference where we were listening to the updates, right? And our reaction to this whole thing just says everything. So take a listen.
To this case. On July 11th at 7:30 a.m., the term you have to pay for an Amber Alert was searched. On July 13th at 1:03 a.m., the day of her disappearance, the term how to take money from a register without being caught was searched. On July 13th at 2:13 a.m., the day of her disappearance, the term Birmingham bus station was searched. On July 13th, 2:35 a.m., a search for a one-way bus ticket from Birmingham to Nashville was conducted with a departure date of July 13th. On July 13th at 12:10 p.m., a search for the movie Taken, a film about abduction, was conducted. There were 2 searches related to Amber Alerts on a computer.
Okay, that's we got weak. It was like, oh, okay. See, this is when true crime, man, like her situation, there will never be, I hope there's never going to be another Carlee Russell, but the Carlee Russell situation, right, is it's just, it's special. it has a special place in my heart, okay? Because I know a lot of people, a lot of y'all got hip to this channel through Carlee Russell. It's kind of funny because it's been big true crime cases that you guys kind of got hip to my channel, right? It was Gabby Petito, okay? Then then there was a couple other ones, but then of course there was Carlee Russell's case. A lot of y'all flooded into it. Into the show at that time as well. Of course, Sebastian Rogers, and then some. But what's interesting is that this one there will never be another Carlee Russell case like that one. That one was a Tyler Perry movie in real life. I'm just saying. Okay. And no, it's not because she's black and it was a situation with a missing black woman. No, I'm being dead serious. Even if this was a white girl missing and this whole thing broke down the way it did, it still would have been a Tyler Perry movie. I'm sorry. Just being real. Okay. This one transcended color. It really did. It really did. Because everybody and their mom was wanting to know where she was. And of course, there were people watching that video, the night video going, oh, can't you see? Don't you see right there? There's a shadow. You don't see those other lights right there? They're coming up. You don't see that ATV picking her up and taking her out into the woods? Someone came up and picked her up. Let's take a look at that video one more time for 7 hours. Take a look at it again. You don't see it? I see it. So, no one else remembers this stuff? I'm sorry. It's hilarious. Okay. She looked up the film Taken. Not only just that, it was just that was like the sprinkles. He was doing the Salt Bae with sprinkles on the Sunday. He was just like, and she Googled the movie Taken, and that took us out. Okay? We were tooken. So, yeah, there will never be another Carlee Russell case. There will never be another Carlee Russell case like that ever again. Ever again. Okay? That was very unique and just comical. That was just comedy. Like I said, a Tyler Perry movie. That was a Tyler Perry movie. And I'm surprised only a few directors have made movies on Tubi about this. I'm dead serious. There's movies on Tubi about the Carlee Russell case. I think literally it's called the Carlee Russell story. I think that's literally what it is. Okay? Dolphin, thank you so much for being a member for 16 months. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Pascal, we're watching that video like it was an NFL replay. Exactly. Because we all were like, man, I'm just saying that took me out. And I'm like, you cannot make this up. This is real. This is for real. Wow. And then, of course, all of the comedy, the skits, the parodies, everything. Because this, one thing I will say about Carlee Russell's case, aside from it being comical and being one of a kind, it really did bring all of us together. I'm being dead serious. It brought everybody together. White, black, Puerto Rican, Asian, polka dotted, purple, and blue. Did not matter. Everybody was like, where is this sweet young Carlee Russell? Everybody was concerned. Everyone got together and was going out there in the woods trying to find her. Everyone. No one said anything. No one said anything negative or even talked about her race. They were just trying to find her. Race only got brought up when they found out that she was lying. Yeah. Because literally I was like, yes. Finally, a case we're all getting along on, a case that we're all getting together and going, let's find this woman. Not let's find this missing black woman. Let's find this blonde-haired, blue-eyed white girl. Nope. It was, where's Carlee? Let's find her. But as soon as they found out this whole thing was a fraud, things changed, unfortunately. But like I said, She did bring us together. She brought us together for a really good laugh. An unfortunate, really good laugh. But yeah, that's a trip down memory lane. There will never be another Carlee Russell case ever again. There'll be others. There'll be other Carlee Russells for sure, but it will never be as comical as that. That was unique. Just being real. Okay. And again, thank God for technology, because technology really is the thing that got her in trouble. It was the Google searches. It was how to steal from the register without getting caught. All these things that she was looking up on the company's computer. This wasn't stuff that she was looking up on her own time in her at home. She was Googling this stuff at work. Do you understand how dumb that is? And everyone's sitting there going, oh, it was mental health. I don't think it was mental health. I think this was just a overly privileged, spoiled girl that felt some type of way. And she started not thinking and started doing very dumb stuff. Period. You know? But like I said, oh yeah, clearly she was a novice at true crime. Oh my dear God. Oh my dear God. Overly privileged chick. And I don't know what she's doing now. You know, apparently she's still trying to be a nurse. I wouldn't trust her with, shoot. As soon as I walked in, I'm in the middle of, like, my whole arm is hanging off by one thread. Okay. And they're like, oh yeah. Okay, come here. Carlee's going to help you. I'd be like, no. I'm another hospital. Another hospital. There's another one down the street. I don't care if I'm about to pass out. Okay. No, I'm not. Stay away from me, devil woman. Stay away from me. Okay. All I'm saying, she's still trying to be a nurse, if I'm correct. Okay. Okay. We had enough fun. All right. But guys, I'm going to be back on in a little while. We got some things we got to talk about. There's a lot of stories, a lot of cases, a lot of things popping off. All right. Yeah, I'm screaming. But if that's my last breath, I'm using every single ounce of my being to let people know, no, Carlee, no. I'm telling you right now. I'd be like, I'll sew it on myself. I don't care. Okay. Give me some Windex and some toilet paper. I'll be fine. Okay. Just need to rub some Windex on it. It'll be fine. Jesus. Okay. Throw some Tussum on it. It'll be fine. Okay. Anything but her. Please. All right. But anyway, guys, aside from that, what say you guys with everything, with what we talked about earlier? Let me know. Let me know what your thoughts are. I can't believe we went on the Carlee Russell. I'm serious. I love Cheez-Its. Let me tell you something. I love me some cheese, and I love granola bars too. But every once in a while, I'll get a handful because I got, every once in a while, I'll put my hand, get a whole handful of them. I'm like, she really was eating these. She really was eating these just by herself in a hotel, just chilling, just eating Cheez-Its. I'm like, after a while, I'd be really tired of eating these, man. I'd be really tired of eating these. What the hell is going on? They're good, but they're not that good. That's all she had for sustenance? Nothing else? That's insane. Okay. But anyway, guys, that's the show for now. Let me know your thoughts, what your thoughts are in regards to the paperwork that just came out. Jane Doe, or yesterday came out, but Jane Doe's past, I guess, has now been unearthed. These are allegations. I don't know if everything is I don't know if everything is entirely true, but we'll find out, right? And yeah, see, every once in a while, see what I'm saying? Yeah, I was eating them. I'm like, these are delicious, but she really was eating these she was literally eating this and granola bars for days. And the food that she picked up for her parents, for her and her parents, she Or unless she left that in the car. I don't remember if she left that in the car or not. But no matter what, oh my God, that's insane, guys. Like I said, there is only one Carlee Russell case. And that was that. Anyway, guys, that is the show. Appreciate all y'all for being here. Woo! I needed that laugh. I appreciate you guys. It really means a lot. Please do me a favor. Hit that like button down below if you appreciated the conversation and what we covered here. We got more to talk about, so I'll be back on in a little bit. Trust and believe I'll be back on in a little bit, okay? So make sure that notification's set to all. Notification bell is rung and set to all, okay? And make sure you have that secondary channel, the Pascal Show clips, subscribed to as well. We got a lot of content coming out over the next couple of days. Literally, there's a lot of stuff going on. So make sure you're subscribed to both. Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out my Patreon, all right? And, of course, check out PascalMerch.com, all right, guys? Yeah. There can only be one, and that is Carlee Russell. But I appreciate all y'all for being here. You guys are amazing. Have a great rest of your day. If I don't see you guys, we will be back on in a little while, so make sure you're there. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. But anyway, guys, it's time to get going. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. We'll talk soon. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.